Hey guys, to be honest, I think this whole coronavirus thing is just a ploy by companies to try to get you to buy those masks that block your face, the things that Asians wear all the time. You see them walking around. I think that's the real reason for this. It's not because there's a virus killing people. The more than 100 or so people that died of it so far, those are just crisis actors, and it's bullshit. The videos you saw of them falling on the ground, etc. That's not true. The reports you're hearing of viruses in BC or Toronto and stuff, that's not true either. The government knows this. That's why they're not restricting travel from China. They know it's just a company that wants to make money, and they're exploiting this fear that is going around right now, and they're going to make a killing off of it. But no, seriously, I'm pretty sure this is real. I'm pretty sure people are actually dying, and this does seem a little bit different than some of the other scares that have been going around. And to me, it seems like this could even be a ploy by China. Infect a lot of their people. And considering the West likes to have open borders, and if you say anything about an Asian person, like coughing, and then you're like, whoa, stay away from me. You're racist here, and that's the only country, and these are the only countries where they could just come in, not be screened, not be checked like they're doing in Canada. Like I think multiple flights have come into Canada so far. None of them are screened whatsoever. But they're like, oh, don't worry, we got doctors lined up waiting there for what? So when they cough, then they'll be like, are you okay? Are you sure? Okay, we'll go home. Have a nice day. I was reading the Minister of Health and what they're doing. They're like, oh, we quarantine this one lady, or she's quarantining herself in her home. I'm like, and she has the virus. I'm like, that's not a really good thing to do. She could just leave her home at any time. Do you have police outside her house making sure she doesn't leave? Probably not, right? But this is diversity, right? Diversity is our strength. Now we got to deal with a bunch of Asians coming in here, infecting everybody with diseases that they caught from, I don't know, from either eating disgusting food like bats and live koala bears and stuff, or no, not live koalas, but I saw this one video of this guy eating like a mouse, a sedated mouse, and another kid eating like tadpoles and shit. And you know what? I'm sorry, Asian people, that is fucked up. Now, obviously, not all of you eat like that, probably, but you gotta admit your cuisine compared to most other people's cuisine is kind of messed up. I saw this one guy trying to be like, oh well, guys in the West, people they eat foie gras, which is like I don't know a bird, and they force feed them and stuff, and then you eat veal, which is like a cow, a baby cow that's just you know made it so they make it so they don't move around a lot, so the meat stays tender, right? And they're like, oh, that's like the same thing, and it's like, no, it isn't. Sorry, but eating like bats and bush meat essentially, because that's what it is. They're eating like bush meat. They'll eat anything that walks under the sun is food, right? To them. So yes, people that eat whatever are going to be more prone to getting diseases and stuff. Like there are diseases by eating bush meats and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure SARS came from bats or something initially, but I don't know how it spread, either from their disgusting eating habits, right? Which is that racist to say? No, I don't think it's racist to say that. I don't like lots of people's food. If you don't like my cuisine, think it's disgusting, that's your opinion. Who cares? I've heard lots of Asians and lots of other people talk shit about Western cuisine and the American diet. These fat Americans, look what they eat, etc. Right? So you can criticize that diet. It's not racist. It's your opinion. So I can criticize you eating like live shit. And if you get like, oh, I got a parasite from this, it's like, well, okay, well, maybe you should cook your food. Maybe you shouldn't like eat live stuff. But Seriously, there is this like biosafety laboratory about 20 miles from the fish market that had the initial outbreak, the National Biosafety Laboratory. And right now on the news, you're in the CBC shared an article. They're like, oh, fake news about this laboratory in Winnipeg, where I live, where there was this girl and her husband, a few of her students who are not even Canadian citizens, right? Are like not even permanent residents or anything like that, or even like nothing like that, and they're working in like a level 4 biohazard facility where they're testing like pathogens, bioweapons, and all this shit. And the CBC article is trying to discredit some of the news that was going around, but if you read the article, it kind of like legitimizes it more. That's why it's really important to read past the headline, because a lot of the times it's like right at the bottom of it, they're like, oh, see, it kind of like there's a lot of fake news, right? Make sure you read past the headline. A lot of the times the people who write the headlines are different from the people who write the actual story. But nonetheless, they were trying to dismiss the article's claims, which I don't know if it's completely proven, but it's pretty suspicious. The same lady that came here that was detained and whatnot, this is all true, this did happen, went and visited that facility from 2017-18 4 or 5 different times, right? And that facility, like I said, is 20 miles from the initial outbreak. And they did send viruses over. They sent Ebola and a couple other ones, right? And are we really to believe that that's all they sent? Maybe that's all they told the Canadian government they sent, but they could have sent a lot of other shit as well that we don't know of. And the government's not going to really talk about it because they don't want egg on their face. Or, it appears to me like Trudeau has China's hand up his ass, essentially. And he's just like, okay, here you go. Here's bioweapons. Oh, okay, you can drill off our coast. Oh, okay, you can spy on American submarines off of our other coast. Like, you can do this, you can do that, right? But, what we should be doing is closing the borders to China. What we should be doing is finding new trading partners than China, because this is what we have to deal with. If they don't sell you things that have like paint with lead in it that poisons your kids, they're they're gonna steal your fucking viruses. They're gonna steal your pathogens, bring them over there. I don't know, or it's from them eating bats and shit. I don't fucking know. Then they come over here and infect everybody else. And if you say anything, you're a fucking racist, you're a bigot. There's all these schools coming out already saying, oh, if you say anything, kids, or if you worry that an Asian coughed on you, you're a racist. You're like, well, that's just a justifiable fear, isn't it? If a country where the virus comes out of is Asian, is Chinese, and the people coming out of that country are all Chinese, then I'm going to be more worried about Chinese people. That's not fucking racist. But the sane thing to do would be to close off the borders from China, from anybody that's coming into China, right? The only people that aren't doing this are like Western countries. Mongolia closed their borders. A lot of these other, Philippines, I think, kicked out 500 Chinese people. They're smart, they're intelligent. Why aren't we? We're just idiots. We're letting this come in. It's going to spread. Other people are probably going to die. But, hopefully it's just one of these things that, the media likes to harp on and likes to fearmonger about, and it goes away and in a short amount of time. But, nonetheless, this is pretty fucked up, and hopefully everybody is okay in the end, and hopefully our government tries to do something about this, but it doesn't appear to be the case. So who cares if people call you racist and whatnot? You don't have to eat that food that Chinese person gave you, and you don't have to get in that elevator. with that Chinese person or whatever. You know, if they don't like it, tough, right? You can always go back to China and live there. But that's all I pretty much had to say. If you like my content, subscribe and have a good day. See ya.